Today on Commander Replay, Nezahal is back. Find out what happens when this multiplayer game devolves into a mono-blue mirror match. Can we overcome the ensuing counterspell battle? Find out next on Commander Replay. Welcome back, everyone, playing some Nezahal Primal Tide, and we are playing a janky mono blue combo deck. Let's see who we're facing. Oh, there's a Kami opponent in this game. That's gonna help us find our combos even more. This should be good. We have 2 lands, a Sapphire Medallion, a Mana Crypt. There's a Kami opponent and a Nekusar, so we're probably gonna draw like crazy in this game, so I'm completely comfortable keeping this hand. One of our combos involves Intruder Alarm and Mer Propagator. Mer Propagator will make a ton of copies of itself until we run out of mana. One of the other combos in the deck involves Decree of Silence, and we have some artifact, I can't even think of the name of it now, that removes counters from things. Our turn 1. So we'll play an island, play a Mana Crypt, play a Sapphire Medallion, pass the turn. So our other combo is Decree of Silence and Power Conduit. Oh, the partnered opponent has already scooped the game. That's disappointing. Anyway, our second combo is Decree of Silence and Power Conduit. Power Conduit removes counters from things, and Decree of Silence gets depletion counters. So as long as Decree of Silence never gets 3 depletion counters, opponents will never be able to resolve a spell, which is kind of funny. We'll go Tails in the Mana Crypt, and we won the flip. There's a dig through time. A little ways away from using that. Kami of the Crescent Moon's going to trigger, and we get a extra draw. We draw into a Glenalendra. This sounds good to me. Let's drop down the Glenalendra and pass the turn. So let's take a look at what Nezahal actually does. It's 5 blue for a 7/7 that can't be countered. You have no maximum hand size, and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Propaganda, huh? Did we counter the Propaganda? Yeah, we counter the Propaganda. So we sack the Glenalendra. Counter the Propaganda. We may have to get there with combat damage at some point, so holding that up seems like a good idea. Mana Crypt for the Kami opponent, so they're probably going to get a little crazy too. Sakshima the Imposter coming down, and they copy our Glenalendra. Anyway, finishing up on Nezahal, whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. This deck can draw cards like crazy, and its last ability, discard 3 cards, exile Nezahal, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. That combination of abilities makes it really difficult to kill Nezahal. Back to our turn, Mana Crypt, we choose Tails and win the flip. We draw another land and a Diluvian Primordial. We could cast Guile this turn, but then we're open to blowouts from other stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to run Guile out there, because if it comes back to our next turn and no one's removed the Guile, we're in very good shape because of the Dream Fracture and the Glenalendra. We can just counter stuff and gain control of it. If we do that, it'll be very difficult for our opponents to win. Dictate of Krufix coming down. Oh, wow. Yep. All the draw steps. Gonna draw all the cards. Should be able to find our combos pretty quickly. Mana Crypt trigger for our opponent. Wins the flip. And gets 2 additional draw steps in addition to their draw per turn. That's a Venser Shaper Savant coming down. Bet it bounces this Guile. Yep. Yeah, that's no good. Our opponent basically had to do that, otherwise we just take the game over. Although we did lose quite a bit of tempo on that play, so that's a thing. Opponent attacks into us with the Glenalendra. We're just going to take that. Sends the Kami of the Crescent Moon at the Nekusar opponent. We'll go heads on the Mana Crypt, and we won the flip again. Nice. So we get a bunch of extra draw steps. There's a Metallurgic Summonings. Ooh, yeah, Metallurgic Summonings, crap. The Glenalendra will take care of the Metallurgic Summoning. We need to get rid of the Glenalendra, before we can make that work. So I'm going to drop down the Ghost Quarter, and try the Thran Dynamo. See if our opponent counters. Yep, they're going to fire off the Glenalendra. Question is... So one thing I thought about doing was sacrificing our Glenalendra, so that opponent couldn't copy it. It's probably not worth it. So Thran Dynamo goes down. We do have a Dream Fracture still up because of the Sapphire Medallion, so that makes me feel pretty good about things. Nekusar coming into play, so life total should start to get pretty low very quickly. And to some degree I'm okay with that because it'll put pressure on us, but it'll put pressure on our opponent as well. It will force our opponent to use some resources on the Nekusar. Opponent discards a Night Dealings Enchantment. Interesting card, I'm going to have to read that thing. And Sphinx's Tutelage. Oh, Sphinx's Tutelage should totally be in this deck. Bunch of triggers going on the stack. Got a combination of draw triggers and Nekusar triggers. Opponent's going to Cyclonic Rift the Nekusar. Down with that. Opponent is going to return Sakshima to its hand. Interesting. Opponent sends both creatures into us. and the Venser's Shaper Savant into the other opponent. No blocks from us. So Sakshima goes back to its owner's hand. We get a mana crypt flip. We're going to need to keep winning these flips with Nekusar lurking around. Going heads, won the flip, nice. I think that makes us 4 for 4. There's a Frost Titan. As much as I like Halimar Depths, Halimar Depths actually doesn't matter that much because we're drawing 3 cards a turn. So I'd rather just have the untapped land come in. So play an island. So right here, I'm going to drop down the Metallurgic Summonings because we should be able to sneak it through the wall of counterspells. So now whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, we're going to start making constructs, and those constructs should be pretty powerful in this game based on... Our opponents aren't really playing heavy creature decks. I'm going to go into the Kami opponent for 1. Chances are we'll probably counter something before they attack, so I feel good about that. We'll discard the Halimar Depths since we won't really need the look ahead ability. We're going to want to play lands that come in untapped. Opponent trying to recast their Nekusar, we're going to Dream Fracture that. So we get a Metallurgic Summonings trigger. We get a 3/3 token, and we draw into a Mystic Remora. Nice. Yeah, a game like this, it should be really difficult for our opponents to deal with this Metallurgic Summonings, especially now that Cyclonic Rift is gone. The thing we probably have to worry about the most is Mass Bounce, which our opponent probably has a little bit of, but a lot of that stuff will hit them as well. Leyline of Anticipation. Ooh, Nekusar scoops it up. So now we got a mono blue battle going. And our opponent's got Flash on everything, which will actually be pretty difficult to deal with. We won't be drawing quite as much per turn, though. Only drawing 2 cards at a time instead of 3. We'll go heads. Lost the flip. Draw an island. And a Baral. Oh, yeah. So play an island. Play Baral. Baral resolves. Play Kaldamine on our Dream Fracture. Get another Metallurgic Summonings trigger. Ooh, opponent casts a Thada Adele. Yeah, we've got a lot of islands. That's probably going to get us. I don't know how we get rid of that. Well, I guess we could cast Frost Titan and just tap it, which will probably be the plan, actually. So we get Dream Fracture back, and then we'll cast the Frost Titan to tap down the Thada Adele, because right now this is going to be a pretty grindy game, and that Thada Adele is going to give them some pretty good advantage. And it won't kill us right away, but in a couple turns, I could see it really being a problem. We'll leave our 1 blue open for Glen Elendra, and we'll start swinging in with the tokens. So opponent goes down to 36. They get a Mana Crypt trigger. Oh, down to 29, sorry. Looking in the wrong place. Wins the flip, still at 29. Gets their additional draw. Opponent finds a Strip Mine. Would love it if they didn't use that Strip Mine. Sakshima the Imposter coming in. Probably chooses the Frost Titan. Yeah, chooses Frost Titan. Gonna tap our Frost Titan. Looks like we're getting into this battle. Battle over the Frost Titans. Opponent has to pay 2 additional. Actually, that's not so bad. Opponent just spent 8 mana to make that play. And because we have the Sapphire Medallion and Baral down, we're going to be able to out-tempo our opponent really well. Because our spells are just so much cheaper to cast than theirs. So, Mana Crypt trigger for us. We'll go Tails. Won the flip. Nice. Man, is that like 5 or 6 in a row? Draw an island. Ooh, Veldakan Orrery. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Play an island. We need to make sure Veldakan Orrery resolves. We do have the Dream Fracture. Try the Veldakan Orrery. This is going to be a game. 2 mono blue decks. Leyline of Anticipation versus Veldakan Orrery. We are doing slightly better because of the Metallurgic Summonings, Baral, and Sapphire Medallion. I like our position slightly more, but it is not out of reach for our opponents, so we need to play very carefully and very tight. At some point, we can try to slam this Dig Through Time, and we'll get a really big token out of that. We can't really attack this turn because of the Frost Titan. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I say we just pass the turn. Play the mono blue mirror match game. Draw go. We could have attacked with Glen Elendra there. Oops. We'll get back on that next turn. Opponent has a Crystal Shard. Ooh, that has the ability to be very interesting. I'm going to say no on that Crystal Shard. We get to cycle with Baral. We see an island. I'll discard the island. We have one in our hand, and since we're still drawing 2 cards a turn, I feel good about our chances of continuously making our land drops. Additional draw step for our opponent. They finally lose a Mana Crypt flip, down to 26. That's a Doubling Cube. Yeah, I think we got to counter that. Counter the Doubling Cube. We get a Metallurgic Summonings trigger. We find a Trinket Mage. We'll be able to cycle. Trinket Mage finds a Sol Ring. Sol Ring is good in this particular battle. Man, what do we get rid of? Diluvian Primordial doesn't actually seem that great since there's only one opponent. So I think we get rid of that. Oh, so we draw additional card. Ooh, nice. Rise from the Tides. How many spells do we have? We have 1 spell, 2 spells in our graveyard, so not looking too great yet. Either way, we're going to discard the Diluvian Primordial. Panharmonicon for our opponent. Oh boy. We are out of counter spells. Ooh, opponent coming in with the Thada Adele. Ugh. Gonna keep our Frost Titan tapped down. Has to pay extra for it. Down for the paying extra. This also means that opponent can't bounce their Sakshima. So, we're gonna block with all 3 tokens in front of this Frost Titan and hope that that gets rid of it. Thada Adele triggers. Right now, I'm torn between the Mystic Remora and the Dig Through Time. I'm thinking the Dig Through Time. Dig Through Time will give us a really big creature that our opponent's gonna have to deal with. I think we go Dig Through Time and then cast our Commander. We've got our opponent kind of where we want. They've only got 1 open mana, so that's where you want to see a blue deck. You want to see them tapped out. Steals our Sol Ring. Kind of expected. Makes our Trinket Mage not nearly as good. And at the end step, so let's try this Dig Through Time. Force of Will is a thing we have to watch out for, but we'll still get the cast trigger on Metallurgic Summonings, which I like. So we need a Delve for 4. Let's get rid of the Diluvian Primordial, the Island, the Glenelendra, and the Thran Dynamo. So we left all of our spells so that we can keep the Rise from the Tides powered up. So what is this one? This one, top 7, put 2 of them into the hand, the rest on the bottom of our library. There's a Lorthos. Capsize is a thing. I'm going to go with Capsize and Dasen of Perfection, and put the rest on the bottom. I really wanted to go for the Lorthos, but it's so big and mana intensive, it'd be really easy for our opponent to blow us out with that kind of play. So we get an 8/8 out of that. Not too bad. Back to our turn. Mana Crypt going on the stack. We'll go Tails. We lost that flip. So we dropped down to 28. There's an Intruder Alarm. There's a Blatant Thievery. That's a card. Not as great with only 1 opponent, but still a great card. Don't have any counter spells, so drop our land into play. I'm a little nervous about the Intruder Alarm. I mean, our opponent probably doesn't have a ton of creatures, but we could play it and then play the Trinket Mage to untap our Frost Titan, and then our Frost Titan could tap some stuff down. Or we could just Capsize like a million times. So let's swing with our tokens. Start there. We'll leave Baral back on defense. Ooh, opponent's going to block with their Kami. Nice. Kami goes down. Opponent takes 3. Part of me just wants to slam our commander right here. Although, I guess our commander costs 6. I'm torn between the Dasen of Perfection and Capsize, or just slamming our commander. Actually, since they're tapped out this turn, let's go Dasen of Perfection and Capsize. Next turn, if they leave mana open, we can go for the Nezahal. So, play Dasen of Perfection. Let's Capsize the... I'm going to say the Thada Adele. We don't need opponents stealing stuff from us every turn. It's going to cost 4 to Capsize it, with buyback. We get a Metallurgic Summonings trigger and a Dasen of Perfection trigger. Thada Adele's getting bounced. And Capsize comes back to our hand. Right now we're doing pretty good. The thing, we still just need to watch out for Mass Bounce. Mass Bounce will wreck all of our tokens. Oh, that's a Rite of Replication on the Sun Titan. We most definitely need to bounce our Sun Titan. So bounce our Sun Titan. More triggers, Dasen of Perfection, Metallurgic Summonings going to work. So Frost Titan comes back to our hand. Rite of Replication should now fizzle. Nice, that's a huge play. We can draw a card with... We didn't counter a spell. Why are we getting to draw with Baral? That's weird. Oh well. Draw into a Dissolve. Dissolve is good. Blatant Thievery seems a bit over... yeah, Blatant Thievery seems overcosted at the moment. I don't know that we'll really be able to tap out for something like that. Thada Adele coming back to play. Back to our turn. So opponent's tapped out again. We have that Dissolve, which we found, which will be really nice. Mana Crypt trigger. We'll go Tails. Lost the flip. And a Disdainful Stroke. Nice. So we're in good shape right now. And the Dasen of Perfection has flipped over. It's a 6/5. And these wizard tokens are also pretty big. Oh, hey, Baral's a wizard also. Let's swing with everything and see if this ends the game. Bam! There it is. -1. Nice. So winning the mono blue mirror match. I can dig it. So you can see how strong enchantments are against blue players, because they typically don't have a lot of great ways to interact with them. And that's why Keranos was so powerful when Splinter Twin was still a viable deck in Modern. Because against a control deck, if you can land a threat that they can't deal with, they're probably going to be in trouble. And that's what we were able to do here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this game. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.